Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the GSL-English Podcast, a podcast designed to immerse you in the English language in a relaxed and natural way. My name is, of course, Gideon, and in this week's episode, it was an absolute pleasure to have a conversation with Veronika from Veronika's Language Diaries. Now, I know that most of you will be very familiar with Veronika from her fantastic YouTube channel that really shows us how to learn languages. And we discuss that in our conversation together, and Veronika shares some brilliant insights in how to do that. We also talk about continually learning throughout life, not just languages, but in everything. You know, why we should keep on taking in knowledge and information, particularly with the resources that we have available. And I know that you will find Veronika's thoughts and opinions very encouraging. We talk about life abroad, and finally, I get to talk about one of my favorite things with a guest on the podcast, and that is Formula One. So if you are a Formula One fan, make sure you stick around for that part of the conversation. But a big thank you to Veronika for joining me, taking the time out of her busy schedule to have a chat with a random British guy on this podcast. So I do appreciate it. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea and enjoy my conversation with Veronika. So, thank you so much for joining me today, Veronika. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure being here.
No, honestly, the pleasure is all mine. I'm glad we could finally work this out, despite my terrible timekeeping and arranging. we got here fine. How was your day?
Yeah, it's been pretty great. Today's Monday, so work day, busy, working, and pretty much that's it, I would say. Just working.
Yeah, very good. Because actually, I don't often record podcasts on a Monday. So I guess what did you do at the weekend? Did you have a relaxed weekend or a bit more of a busy one?
Yeah, so right now, actually, I try to stay off work on the weekends. I don't work at all. Or, if there's like something that I absolutely have to do, of course I'll do that. But no, not anymore. I don't really work on the weekend anymore. So what I did was on Saturday, I went bouldering. It's my new hobby, like rock climbing, bouldering.
Wow.
Yeah, and I discovered it just like by accident. I was listening to some psychologist on YouTube, and she was saying that bouldering, rock climbing, it's a very good sport for kids. And I was like swimming, like she mentioned a few different sports that are very good for kids. And I was like, yeah, like I really like swimming. I did swimming a lot when I lived in Russia, but here, I don't know, kind of like stopped doing that. But then she mentioned bouldering, and I was like, it sounds so interesting. Like, I know like it's good for kids, but like, why can't I try it, you know? And at first I was a little bit self-conscious because like starting something new, like a new sport especially, you feel like you're going to go to the bouldering gym and everyone is going to be so amazing, and you're
Mm.
going to be like the only beginner there. And obviously I felt all of those things too, and I came to the bouldering gym and I really liked it. So I had like the first class with an instructor. He explained everything to me. Obviously we did like very easy routes, and I was like, it's great. I really like it. It's like doing something active, like helping my body become stronger. And it's like a little mental challenge, like playing chess. I don't know why. Like for me, it was very similar, like chess and bouldering, because you have to think like how to complete a route, right? And yeah, I've been like obsessed. A lot of people on Instagram also have been like DMing me and saying like, Veronika, you go bouldering so much right now. I'm like, yeah, like I really like the sport now.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's really interesting because just over the last couple of weeks, a few people have mentioned bouldering to me. And I thought, I mean, had no idea what it was, but it is, am I right in saying that you're not attached by ropes at all? You
No,
kind of,
you're
it's a
not.
free climbing.
Yeah, it's free climbing. Yeah, because you're not climbing very high. So it's completely safe. You're not
Yeah.
climbing very high, and there are mats like all over
Mm.
the gym. There are mats, you can fall safely. It's actually like one of the things you have to learn at the very beginning, how to fall
Oh, okay.
and like be comfortable falling. Yeah, and for me at the beginning it was scary because I'm afraid of heights. And
Oh.
so the first few lessons, I was like, how do I fall from here? Because the instructor would tell me, okay, Veronika, now you fall. And I'm like, can I just climb down? He's like, no, you have to fall. Like, you have to learn to be comfortable to fall. Because what
Wow.
if, one day you're climbing and you slip, like your foot slips and you're gonna fall? So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So how do you force yourself to? I don't know if I'd have the mental ability to do that. To force yourself to
Ugh.
fall.
Yeah, I don't know, just like count one, two, three. I
Yeah.
don't know, just like do
Just
it.
just
Yeah.
do it. Yeah. Oh,
Knowing that it's safe.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
knowing
good.
that it's safe. And I think also what really helps me a lot is it's so crazy how like I'm an adult right now, but when I go to the bouldering gym, sometimes kids come there
Mm.
too. Like they have lessons there with an instructor. And I see just how kids are so different. Like they're not afraid. Most of the kids climbing, they're like little monkeys. They climb, they fall, it's fun
Mm.
for them. And I'm like, oh my God, like I can learn so many things from these kids. Like they're all like 7 years old and they're not afraid to fall. And like, Veronika, this girl is not afraid to fall, so you can do it too.
You can do it. And is it your first time kind of doing something like that? Was that really kind of pushing the boundary for you as regards hobbies?
Yes, but I was always interested in sports. I
Right.
was
Okay.
always, I would say, like a pretty athletic person. Ever since I was a kid, I did gymnastics. Then I did track. Then I started going to the gym. When I went to college, I started doing yoga. But unfortunately, like for a very long time, I had a very like rocky relationship with sports because
Mm.
for me, it was always something you had to do.
Oh, that's interesting.
And because like I already have to work to make money, obviously, but I also love my work. But like having another thing I just had to do was
Mm.
not fun. And for me, like this aspect of having fun in everything, language learning, work, sports, so important. And so I stopped going to the gym for some time because it stopped being fun for me. And yeah, rock climbing, bouldering became this new thing that is extremely fun for me to do. It's good for, my strength because I like one of my goals right now is to get stronger, like
Mm.
build more muscle. Um, so yeah, I really like it. It's fun. It's fun, and that's why I like it.
Isn't that true though of most things that if you can you've got to mix it up and find something that you enjoy doing. I think particularly in life because there is so much we have to do.
Hmm.
Some of it's good, but some even with work, I love my job, but I have to do it. So I
Of
think
course.
if you can find those little pockets of things which just make life fun, it's so
No, I
important.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I wanted to add right now, basically, my relationship with sports is I just ask myself, what do I want to do today? Because I try to exercise every single day or most days
Mm.
because I sit in front of my computer and I just don't like, having this like sedentary lifestyle, which is okay for work, but obviously I got to move my body to stay healthy. And yeah, like today I can just, work and be like, okay, I feel like going to the gym. So I go to the gym. Tomorrow I'm like, I feel like doing yoga. So I do yoga. Or like, I feel like walking or I feel like going bouldering. So I really like that I have this flexibility to
Yeah.
choose what sports I want to do now.
And I guess mentally as well, that's a game changer in, to especially with yourself being so busy, working hard, I imagine you have a pretty full schedule, but that is kind of a bit of a mental escape as well from the
Mhm.
normalities of life.
Yeah, no, for sure. It helps my mental health a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, like doing sports. Yeah, I mean, it's a very big part of my life, and I like that now. My relationship with it is so good that I'm excited to do sports. I'm excited
Brilliant.
to go to the gym again because I know that it will help me climb better when I
Yeah.
go bouldering. So yeah, it's fun.
Oh, good for you. That is a much more productive weekend than I had. it was I had one of those weekends where I thought, I want to go out on my bike. I want to go walking. I love playing the drums. So I was like, I'm going to play the drums. I literally ended up doing nothing all weekends. And I got to Monday and I thought that was a waste. I was not productive in one way or another.
Well, on Sunday, to be honest, I didn't do anything at
Oh, okay.
all.
I feel better.
Yeah. So sometimes we need those days.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
I need those days when I just wake up and I'm like, I just want to stay home and do nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I spend like most of the day on my couch, like literally doing nothing, like watching YouTube, catching up on like all the videos I wanted to see. That's it. Like I didn't exercise, I didn't study a language,
Yeah.
nothing.
Good. Do you have like a go-to film on those days? Like, is there a, because I was saying, like, we were scrolling through Netflix for hours, and we
Mhm.
didn't find anything to watch, but do you have like a go-to kind of film or series on those sofa days?
I would say YouTube. Like
Okay. Yeah.
not one specific film, but definitely a platform, YouTube. I There are a lot of creators that I follow. I think I heard this interesting phrase how some people they follow other people, but other people they follow a specific type of content. Like
Hmm.
they like gym content. So they follow a lot of people who post this type of content, but they don't really care about the person, the influencer. And I'm more of a person who is like, I follow people. Like, I want to see their lives, unwinding in front of me, their new videos. So, like, I am that person who like likes every single video, watches like
Right.
every new video. So that's why, obviously, usually there are a lot of videos I need to catch up on YouTube. And also courses because I take a lot of courses like all the
Mm.
time. A few months ago, I finished this. It was my dream, like my absolute dream to take this course from Cornell University. It's like their online course about nutrition. The course was called Plant-Based Nutrition in Practice, like something like that. And there were so many like doctors that I am passionate about and like all the specialists, the research. I was like, yeah, it was amazing. It was a dream come true because it is an expensive course. You have to pay for it. It's not free. And
Mm.
so I was thinking for a long time, should I buy it? Like, or should I, get it? Because I don't work as a nutritionist, right? And so, I don't know, but I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot of things for me that I found is like very, very useful.
Wow. So you really like to kind of just keep on absorbing information, keep on learning,
Yeah,
progressing, and
for sure.
moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, right now I'm taking a psychology course from like one of the psychologists that I follow on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's today she gave access to the platform and the first lesson is like an hour long. And I was so excited. I'm like,
Wow.
yes, an hour long. It's my favorite. Like the longer, the better.
Good. So, I mean, like speaking honestly, of course, because I want to talk about your YouTube channel in a moment, but where do you get like the motivation to keep on, okay, I'm going to do this course, and I can even see how passionate you are, about these
Yeah.
things. How do you keep that passion? How do you keep that motivation going but in so many different areas?
Because I do what I love. Like for a lot of people, it seems like it's a lot of different areas, but these areas are the areas that I love. Like I'm very
Oh, yeah.
passionate about those areas, and I just also love educating myself.
Mm.
Like I love learning something new, talking to new people. Like when I talk to like smart, especially smart people, I just like what I want them to do is like give me their brains because
Hmm.
like that's the passion that I have. I don't know, just I was not always like that, I think, because for a very long time when I was in school, high school, college, there were so many subjects that were so boring to me. Like I was not interested in those things. And I think only like recently I actually started discovering things that I am passionate about. And of course it takes some effort, to sit down and like learn things, memorize things. But because I love it so much, the effort is a lot lower than if I was doing something I hated. Like I remember in college, I had like economics. No, like not my subject at
Nothing.
all. So it was a disaster. I could not do that.
Yeah. And I was exactly the same well, not exactly, that was probably a bit worse, but at school, I really had no interest
Mhm.
in education, I don't think really. But as I got older and later on in life, I think you start to find the things that you love, the things that you have a bit of a passion for. And then if you can do what you're doing and indulge them, then it does nothing but benefit that. So, I mean, yeah, I could talk about that for ages, but of course, do you think that, well, we'll just go on to your YouTube channel now, Veronika Language Diaries. Do you think that kind of um, is what got that going originally? Like, how did that YouTube channel start? Was it because you wanted to think, well, I want to present some information to people, or yeah, where did it come from?
I think it was because there are so many things, honestly, that connected at that point. So I started my YouTube channel in 2020, my first YouTube
Right.
channel, Veronika's Language Diaries. At that time, it was called English with Veronika Mark. And so I started in 2020 just because for a very long time, in 2020, I was 20 years old. And so ever since I was probably 17, I would say, I was thinking, oh my God, YouTube is so interesting, like how people
Mm,
make videos, I just want to do that too. And
mm,
because at that time, I had this passion for YouTube plus passion for English, specifically for English, because for me, I saw English it's going to sound weird, but I'm going to explain, as a way out of a lot of different, like, problems that I had. Because
mm,
I come from a small town. So I wanted to move to like the capital city, to Moscow, or like maybe move abroad. And so English for me was, to say it in a more positive way, like a ticket to my dream life, right? If I can
wow.
say it this way. And I was like, I need to learn English. Like, absolutely, so many like books and everything, they're all written in English. I absolutely have to learn English. And slowly but surely, I also developed this passion for English learning, like because of YouTube,
Mm,
because I was watching a lot of especially American YouTubers. And I was like, wow, their lives are like so interesting.
mm,
And just the way they speak English is so cool. Because in school, I was taught British English. And I liked the accent too, but I don't know why the American English for me was just like, I don't know. At that time, I thought it was like amazing, the most amazing thing in the world. Yeah, and in 2020, it was when I was already in college, and I think I was disappointed in a way because I realized that I might have made a mistake choosing my major because my major was the Chinese language. And I was like,
oh, wow.
why? Like, because I decided to choose the Chinese language as my major because I was 17 years old. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Of
And
course.
I was just like talking to my parents, and I was like, I guess I like languages.
Mm,
And my parents were always very supportive. And they were like, okay. So that's what happened. And I chose Chinese because I thought that, like professors, this like college environment, again, talking to smart people, because Chinese is such a difficult language, I
mm,
thought it would be amazing to learn the language, at university, like being able to talk to like all those smart, like amazing professors and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. I just realized that I tried like working as a translator. I found it extremely boring, like very tedious work. And working as an interpreter, like live, translating from
wow.
Chinese to
Yeah.
Russian, I was like, I don't know, it's not really for me. I'm not sure I want to do that. And yeah. And I was like, okay, but I really like YouTube. For three
Mm,
years, I was
yeah.
thinking about it. And like it all kind of connected together, like me not liking my major anymore. And like this, like, oh, but I like YouTube, and I like English
Mm,
still. And yeah, I started my YouTube channel in 2020, sharing, a lot of different things about English specifically. But it's so crazy. Like it's 2024 now, and basically 4 years ago, if I hear myself speak English 4 years ago, I'm like, that's crazy. Like my English sounds so different right now. And I think it's a very good like point to mention here that you are always going to be improving if you stick with something, like this concept of continuous improvement. It's really like a lot of people, they want to sound perfect. They want to make a perfect YouTube video. But if you compare my first video to the videos I make right now, they have improved so much. And I know that I can still improve them so much more. And
Mm.
so, if you get stuck on this, like, oh no, it has to be perfect, what happens to most people is they don't produce anything because they
Okay.
try to, make something better, 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 but perfection doesn't exist. So they're never satisfied. And
Mm.
if you just like put something out there, I mean, I was proud of my videos back then, but if I watch them now, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
And I think I love that point you just brought out, that everything doesn't have to be perfect, and nothing will be perfect, and
mhm.
especially in that kind of journey, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. You keep moving forward, and you keep progressing. So how, of course, you were saying, that you went from Chinese major. How did you get your English to this point? Because it's absolutely incredible. How did you do that? Was that kind of the motivation when you started your YouTube channel, or was it before that you reached a high level?
Yeah, I think I started like really working on my English, on my accent and everything when I was in college. So I was
Okay.
like 17. Right before that, I think my grammar was really, really good. So like, being in my class, I could see that my English was better in terms of grammar, for sure,
Wow.
if I, compared myself with other students. But one of my English professors in college, one day she came up to me and she was like, Veronica, like your English is very good. Like all the, the textbooks that we have, like, because I think the textbook we had was for C1 for this level. And she was like, all of this grammar. So what I can recommend is why not working on your accent now?
Mm.
Because when I was 17, at the time when I just got into college, I was speaking, how like third Russian, third like American accent, and third British accent, like a combination of
There's a
everything.
little bit, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, a little bit of everything. And I was like, yeah, like why not? And that's when I started working on my accent actually. And yeah, and then I think it was 2019, I met a guy from the United States and we started dating. Well, then we broke up, but I think that also influenced that. So like I don't want to gatekeep that. So
Mm.
I think obviously dating a person from that country, that culture can help you a lot because that person can talk to you, they can, correct your mistakes or your accent, stuff like that. But I also really have to like because a lot of people usually get it wrong and they think that that was the only
Mm.
thing, that improved my English. And that made me, and that kind of makes me feel bad because I did so much work to improve my English.
Exactly.
I worked so much. I studied every day, or almost like I studied a lot, like small, continuous efforts, consistent efforts. That's like what helped me improve my English. Not because, I talked to someone or I dated a person from that country. But of course, it influenced that too.
It all
What
helps.
else?
It all helps.
Yeah.
And I think as well, sometimes kind of, well, you will get it. I get asked it all the time. How can I improve my English? Well, there isn't one answer.
Mhm.
And as you said, there's okay, you have the element of immersion, and accent training, but actually it's just consistency and hard
Mhm.
work. That is what really gets you to that point.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think also like just realizing that you have what it takes to learn a new
Mm.
language. Because I also hear a lot of people say that, no, like, it's just like it doesn't come naturally to me. Like I
Mm.
can't do that. Like it comes naturally to you. Like I grew up thinking that it came naturally to me. But in reality, it didn't because I put in so much freaking
Mhm.
work. Like I was a nerd, if you can believe it, like in high school. I was the nerdiest nerd ever. I loved studying. And so obviously it's a lot of, making plans and sticking to it. just learning and learning. And especially I think right now, I also changed my like I changed the way I approach like language learning in relationships, if I can call it that, because
Wow.
in the past I would think that, oh, you're dating a person from, let's say you're trying to learn English and you're dating a person from the United States. And so you have to get the most out of this person, right? Like teach me English.
Mm.
But now I do not, act this way. I do not believe this way because it creates a different like role dynamic in a relationship. Because in a relationship, like first and foremost, you are romantic partners for each other and not like teacher student. Like teach me something and I want to learn and stuff like that. And that's why also like a lot of people get confused and they can ask their partner like, why aren't you teaching me English? They're not supposed to teach you
Yeah.
English, you know?
It's not, there's not a
It's your
stipulation.
yeah, it's your goal. Like take
Mm.
the responsibility back.
Mm.
So yeah.
Wow. And I think particularly what I take from your points is, it's the dedication to it, the dedication to what you want, and being consistent with that. And I think as well, I was talking to actually a student, I think it was last week, and they were getting really disheartened because they just felt like they weren't greatly improving to the point that they wanted to. And I think sometimes we devalue what an amazing thing it is to learn a language, to reprogram our brains to communicate in another way, a completely different way. If you go from Chinese to English or Russian to English, completely different ways of communication. And I think we put so
Mm.
much pressure on ourselves. And I think sometimes there can be societal expectations which say you have to learn a language. But I think, I'm all about just spreading the fact that actually it's an incredible thing. Okay, we're all at different levels of that journey, but learning a language is amazing. And the fact that you're
Mhm.
willing to even go on that journey or give it a shot is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like there's so much that goes into language learning. Like you're learning a lot of things about the
Yeah.
culture. And I think it's especially maybe for like people who are like me who make content about like language learning or about my life.
Mm,
A lot of people expect me to improve fast. Like,
mm,
what's your
mm.
Spanish level? Because now I live in Mexico, so I'm learning Spanish. And it was like, okay, are you advanced yet? Like, do you know everything yet? Because like everyone thinks that it's easy or it has to be fast. But I don't know, just like a long time ago, I decided for myself that I'm learning Spanish because I like it. I want to keep the
Mm.
fun element in it. Like I don't have to take an exam. Yes, I live in Mexico, so for me it's important to speak
Right.
Spanish, but it doesn't mean that, I have to study a lot. And because like the way I studied with English was completely different because I had to take exams. I had like English in college. So also like the way you study can change depending on your goals, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And one thing I love about your YouTube channel is, which I think is you bring something to the table which is often missed, and that is how to learn a language. And
Mhm.
there's one thing, I don't know, going on YouTube, English learning videos or reading a book, but actually, I think teaching that process of actually how to learn a language is a pretty cool thing, and I think it's so important. Was that always your goal with YouTube? To really put that across on how to do it effectively.
No, I think it definitely changed because, as I
Mm,
mentioned before, I started my YouTube channel in 2020 and I was talking about English, only English. And I was making videos about like, here are 10 advanced expressions in English. But very quickly, I just got like burned out, and not just like burned out, but like uninterested in the
mm,
topic. I was like, this is not how I learn. Like, I didn't watch all of those videos. It's not my method. And I really like that you noticed it like on my YouTube channel because one of the like quotes that I absolutely love, and I think it's like how I am making my videos on YouTube right now, is it goes something like, don't give a man fish, instead teach the man how to fish, or something like
Oh
that. I
yeah,
don't know if you've heard this quote before.
yeah, lead a man. Yes, I know there's like different renditions of it, like teach him how to fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. So
exactly.
basically, the main point about this quote is teach a person how to learn a language, how to fish, because then they will be able to fish or to catch as many fish as they want. So the same thing, like once you know how to learn a language, you can apply the same strategy for every single language. It's the same, like literally the approach I use maybe changes depending on, if it's difficult for me to learn grammar in one language, it changes a little bit. Like I tweak it, it's not like major changes. It's
Yeah.
literally exactly the same thing. And so yeah, I think it's the same thing with everything. Like instead of, telling a person that, you should eat, cabbage, or you should eat, I don't know, fish, just like a person should know why. Like how does it work? How does nutrition work? Like why should I eat this and not eat that? And like once you have all of this knowledge, you will be able to figure out what you need to eat.
And I think that that principle, I think that you're bringing forward is really important, particularly in the world that we live in now with social media, YouTube, and things like that. I think it's very easy to become dependent on creators. Particularly
Mhm.
when you're learn. Let's say when you are learning a language, you become dependent on certain creators to, or whatever it is, to teach you the language and give you information. And I've noticed it myself, even I'm the same as you. I'm trying to learn a bit of Spanish. And I realized actually my language learning was becoming dependent on this
Mm.
one YouTuber uploading content. And I thought, oh,
Interesting.
this isn't healthy. Actually, I need to start learning how to do it properly on my own. And that's why I think your approach is so effective. And
Hmm.
obviously massively successful.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I mean, it's something that has worked for me. And personally, it's just not something that excites me. Like making those videos, I tried making them in the past, and I got bored very quickly because I was like, it's just I don't learn a language this way. Like, what's the point? I don't even know. Yeah. And so I stopped doing that. And especially now because I moved to Mexico, I'm learning Spanish right now. So I just want to I want to make content about language learning in general. Obviously, sometimes I talk about English or Spanish, but what if one day I decide to learn a new language? So I don't want to like start a new channel for every single language I learn because, as we just said, the how stays the same.
That's actually a really, really clever idea. I should change the name of mine. Tied to English. But yeah, yeah, honestly, I could talk about it for ages. So I just want to, because you said at the moment you're living in Mexico. Uh,
Mhm.
what's life like in Mexico? Is that is that a new change or quite recent? Or yeah, what's it like?
I moved here 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so it's been a while actually already.
Time flies.
Uh, Absolutely, time flies. I think only recently I was just thinking about it. I'm like, wow, 2 years. And like I only now I actually feel like I'm a part of this city. Like I
Oh, okay.
belong. Because like I my Spanish is obviously a lot better. I have met some cool people here. So like all of that obviously influenced the way I feel right now. But I really like it. I mean, I like the weather, I like the food. Maybe the only thing that I don't really like is traffic, because a lot of
Oh,
people
okay.
also say that the traffic here is often bad,
Mm.
but it's obviously there like a perfect place again doesn't exist. Like every single
Right.
place, there are going to be something that you don't like, and you just think, is it something that I like? Okay, it's something that I like, and I am willing to work with the things that I don't like.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I lived in Dominican Republic for a while,
Oh
and there
wow,
was
okay.
there was things that I loved and things
Mhm.
that were pretty annoying I didn't like. But I think you have to weigh up. Okay, can I live with the annoyances
Mhm.
to enjoy the plus sides of it, the good sides of it? I don't
Mhm.
think I've ever. I think I went to Mexico as a kid. You know, in England we always do like all-inclusive holidays where you stay.
Uh-huh.
You do with my family. You know, you stay in a hotel. And look, you don't really see the country. You see like a fake version of it. But I would love. It's actually on my list to visit Mexico. I'd love to go one.
hmm Yeah, no, I think you would absolutely love it. Yeah, I actually have this like little like secret, not hobby, but like a secret thing that I really like is when you go to like an all-inclusive hotel, there are some performances,
Yeah.
like usually during like dinner or lunch or maybe after dinner. I love those things. I
Oh,
like
wow.
I
Okay.
Yeah, a few weeks ago I went to an all-inclusive hotel here in Mexico. And I specifically wanted to see all of the shows, all of the performances. It's just in every single country. I don't know why I just like them so much. It
I,
makes me feel like I'm on vacation.
it's so weird. I'm exactly the same. And it honestly drives my family mad because if we go somewhere like, no, the show's at 9:30, we will go and see the show. And my dad will be like, no, it's only flamenco dancers. I don't know. We're watching it. I've always been like that. I don't know what it is, but there's something that I don't know, after you've had some dinner, it's kind of that nice weather, go to see the show,
hmm
you really feel like you're on holiday. You know, that I
hmm
love that feeling.
I
Or they got like
agree.
the rubbish magician, you know. uh, I love it. Have you got any countries that you would love to travel to? Is there anything next on your list?
I think I shared it on Instagram too that for 2025 I would love to go to Europe, like
Oh, okay.
have like a summer, like a European summer, but probably I'll go to like in May because
Mm,
I
good time.
I Googled and obviously a lot of people say that like probably go like late April, May or early June or like then late September or October, something like that. And probably I'll go in May because I also want to see the Formula One race in Italy because I like Formula One.
I am the biggest Formula One fan.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
that's
So which one do you want to go to? Monza or Imola? The in Italy.
Imola. Imola,
Oh,
because I think I checked the schedule and it's going to be in May
oh,
next
wow.
year. Yeah.
So that's kind of your like that's your central core of your trip, and then everything else will happen around that.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that maybe like a part of my trip because I think it's really nice to like combine like going to a place and then going to see like a Formula One race too
Mm,
because like obviously one day I would like to see all of the races, like be there, to see all of
yeah.
the races and all of the locations because I wanted to go to Canada like this year because the
Yeah.
race like happened like last month or a few weeks ago. And I really want to go to Canada, but I still don't have my visa. So I'm
Oh,
still waiting for
okay.
it. Like I didn't get a no, I didn't get a yes. So obviously I didn't go. But yeah, unfortunately, no Canada this year.
Do you know what? I've been waiting because I've done a few of these podcast kind of interview conversations now. And every now and then I try and just lead the conversation just to see like if there's any taste in Formula One. And it hasn't happened. So I'm very pleased that it's finally happened. Finally. Um, so sorry for the people watching that aren't into Formula One, but just let me have my moment. Do you have a favorite driver, a favorite team?
Yeah, of course I do. I mean, I think I still really like Lewis Hamilton. There
Yeah.
are a lot of different reasons why. One of the main reasons is because he's vegan and I'm
Oh, okay.
vegan too. And so like obviously it's just like I gravitate towards those people, like people who share my mindset.
Mm,
I watched like a few interviews with him. I think he's like really well outspoken. Obviously, like for a few months, because like when he wasn't performing that great, I
mm.
was doubting, obviously, like
Yeah.
a real fan, right?
I'm
I was like,
trying here, Lewis, but yeah, you're not giving me anything.
exactly, especially when he was acting like a little baby,
I
like
know.
leaving Mercedes and everything. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is not why, I'm a fan of you, not
Yeah.
because you act like a little baby. But I think right now he's driving better for sure. He has maybe a better car or he feels more confident. I don't know what happened, but obviously right now I'm like, yes, I'm your fan again.
Yeah. I'm
Let's
back.
go.
I'm
I'm
back. Let's do
back.
it, Lewis. Yeah. Good answer.
Yeah.
That was a really good answer. Yeah. It's think at the moment I'm a big Ferrari fan myself. I love Ferrari.
Mhm. Okay, of course.
Always have
And
been.
Lewis is going to Ferrari next year.
Exactly. So we'll see. I think next year is going to be a really good year. And you said about Monza, and actually I think it's one of the cheaper ones to go to, but also you've
Oh,
got
I didn't know.
and you got the amazing. Oh no, you said about Imola, didn't you? But yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
think it
it's
was
the same.
Imola. Yeah.
But the Italian fans, just amazing. Um, oh wow, yeah, very
And the
good.
food in Italy is obviously amazing too.
Yeah. So is there anywhere else in Europe, kind of apart in that trip that you would like to visit? So,
I haven't done any research yet, but basically what I was thinking about is that I really want to find some like super interesting places, like probably not like very touristy places, because I've been to Europe before. I went to Europe in 2012. I was only 12, but I remember a
okay.
lot of things. And like I saw a lot of the like main places, a lot of countries, because basically it was a school trip. Actually, it was pretty amazing. I mean, it was like
Oh
the
wow.
one and only school trip that my English and my French teacher organized from my school, and it was amazing. I really liked it. We visited like a lot of European countries. So I think this time next year, I would like to visit a lot of like places connected to nature, because I really love being
Mm,
in nature, like the ocean. And I know in France, for example, there are a lot of places like that. I'm
yeah.
sure in other countries too, but I just like saw a few, Instagram reels about that. So obviously, like once I start planning everything, I would really love to just like visit a lot of like beautiful places in nature.
Yeah.
So,
So that'll, yeah. I mean, in Europe, absolutely incredible places. You say south of France, go through to Spain.
mhm.
Yeah, great time. So I just had one more question. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you, of course, now as well, you've got a very successful Instagram page, which is kind of all about motivational. From what I understand, was that
Mhm.
how, kind of what was your goal with your Instagram? Of course, it's going away from language as a
Mhm.
focus. What was the goal there?
Mhm. Yeah, it's a very interesting question. And it makes me feel actually really good that you can also see that with my Instagram, that I have changed my strategy. Because
Mm,
like I don't really talk to a lot of people, behind the screen, right? Like sometimes I do like Q&As and I ask people like, oh, what
yeah.
do you think about my content, blah, blah. But basically, the way I built my audience was through making videos about English. Again, the same thing and
Wow.
happen. And at one point, unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of guidance. And I think obviously most
Mm,
people who start by themselves, we don't get a lot of guidance. And
no.
so I got a little bit like not swayed in I don't think it was a wrong path for me. It was a path that I had to take. That's why I took
Mm,
it. But yeah, I was making a lot of reels on Instagram about English. I was like using all of my knowledge, how to make reels, and I was like making a lot of reels that performed really well. I was making more and more of those, like a series and stuff like that. And so that's how I gained my audience. And only a few months ago, I was finally like coming to this realization that I just can't do this anymore.
yeah.
It's all been pretty recent, actually, that like it wasn't. I mean, I started thinking about it a year ago, to be honest. A year ago, I
Okay.
took a few coaching lessons with like a coach, and I talked to him about it because I was just distraught. Like I didn't know what to do. I
Mhm.
felt like that's it. And it started a year ago, but then I couldn't really do it. I was too scared. I was scared that I was going to lose my audience. I was scared that I'm not going to get a new
Mm.
audience. And so I actually started changing my content, like making the content I do right now only like 2 months ago.
Oh
I was
wow.
finally like brave enough to like cut the cord, or like I don't know
Yeah,
what
that's a
expression to
bold
use,
move. Yeah.
yeah, to be like done. Like I'm not making videos
Mm.
like that
Wow.
anymore. That's it. I'm changing my strategy. And so obviously right now my views are down compared to the views I would get in the past. But it's just I can't, like, a very good exercise that I did was think of yourself in 5 years. Like
Yeah.
who is that person? What do they do? Where do they live? I don't know what they wear, if it's important for you. But I thought of myself in 5 years and I was like, no, It's like, I just, no, definitely not that. So I need to take action now so that, I don't wait for 5 more years. And then in 5 years, I'm like, now what?
Yeah, I should have done it 5 years ago. And I guess that kind of principle as well, that applies to learning English or any language. I guess, see yourself in a few years' time. I think it's so easy just to kind of look down and such a narrow perspective, but actually just broadening that perspective, seeing a bit into the future and your goals and what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really encouraging. I'd say thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And I know some of the insights that you've put on the table will really encourage a lot of the watchers and listeners. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I wanted to add one more thing. I think it's especially difficult for people like on social media because you get so used to seeing high numbers. Like
Yeah.
on Instagram, for example, my videos would like get, 1 million views, 2 million views, 3 million
Mm.
views. And now obviously it's not like that at all. And I think that's also like important to recenter yourself and be
Yeah.
like, what's more important for you? Just seeing numbers or moving along the right path for you, even though of course right now you're not going to get those numbers. But I think also like over the years of like working on social media, I just realized that what I value a lot more is like good audience,
Yeah.
people who message me that I can talk to. Because when I was, like when my videos were like going viral and performing like crazy, yeah, like I would get a lot of views, but a lot of the comments were so random, like so
Yeah.
random. It's just like weird. And I was like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, I would for sure choose like the audience and the views that I have now. Yeah, like actually, if it would be possible, like I would want Instagram to like delete all of my followers who are inactive
Mm.
because I'm not chasing the number because right now, like my number maybe looks pretty on Instagram, right? I have over 1 million followers. But for me, I would rather have a smaller number, but I know these people are active, they talk to me, they value my content versus just having a big number and be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think that's a really healthy place to be. That's a really healthy relationship, particularly to have with social media. I think we
Mm-hmm.
we we are growing into a world which is just obsessed with figures, numbers, and how much have you got comparing it to other people. But actually, if you can go back to that place of just quality over quantity, particularly even when it comes to an audience, a quality audience that you can build a connection with, that's invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really couldn't agree more. Great point. Yeah. So as I
Yeah.
say, I promise I won't take up too much more of your time, but thank you so much. And honestly, I know you're extremely busy and you've got a lot going on, and I know you've just launched your new website. So I wish you all the best with that. And maybe we can do it again another time.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you for inviting me. It was an amazing conversation. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you so much.